Welcome to Start Somewhere, the bingeable podcast for the ambitious, self-development obsessed who know they are meant for more. More money, more freedom, more fun. Each week, I expose the sexy truths about manifestation, feminine mindset, and rituals to keep your body and lifestyle thriving. I'll show you how to move through change like it's your runway moment. Welcome to our grounded space to becoming self-obsessed and seducing your own life, where we start with the first step, not the entire staircase. Let's start somewhere together. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Start Somewhere podcast. We are on a roll recently with sharing a bunch of content, marketing framework, and business episodes. And this one, I know you guys are going to love. So this is your 3-month game plan to hit 6 figures in your business. I'm going to be exposing and revealing everything that I did throughout my journey to get myself to where I am in my business. So this episode, you are going to want your notes up on your phone or a journal nearby. The thing is, creating a 6-figure business isn't just about your marketing. It's also about who you are as a business owner, how your identity, yourself feels great to show up online, to have visibility, and also your capacity to actually hold that type of success. And when we think about it, these days, there is so much money around the world, and 6 figures in hindsight is not that much when we're thinking about these multi-million global businesses out there. And sure, I know a lot of our listeners, they love to say they're not in it for the money. That's what a business is though, right? I know you love to help people. I know you love the impact, and I know you love the community. I'm the same. And at the same time, if the business isn't making money, it's just a side hustle. So what if you could actually learn exactly what's required for yourself to show up, to then call in that type of success that you want in your business? Creating the business I have today, I actually thought it meant being locked up in my office, sitting at my desk on my computer for as long as I could. I thought it required me to say no to seeing friends, to not look after myself, not get changed every day, not feel cute, not do my hair, not do my makeup, to spend every single waking moment to sleeping moment working. First thing I do when I wake up, first thing when I go to sleep. I thought it meant jeopardizing and not putting my health and my fitness first. I thought I really just had to be working quite literally 24/7. And let me just speak on this for a moment. There is a building phase. There's always going to be a phase, seasons that you come up to where it is going to be like that, where you are opening your laptop first thing in the morning. Perhaps you haven't brushed your teeth for a few hours since waking. You're still in your pajamas, and you are saying no to some social events and interactions. Everything is polarity. However, when I was reflecting recently, I've been in that building phase for months and months. And it wasn't until I started to see really big success, my success started to compound. And this is the beauty, this is momentum. It's not like you just do 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Sure, you're running up like that for a while, but then eventually 6 becomes 12. 12 becomes 24, and so on and so on. And this is the beauty of compounding. This is the beauty of momentum. And for me, I was let's use my favorite staircase analogy yet again. I was climbing up each step, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. And then I eventually was nothing changes if nothing changes. I love to constantly challenge this and always ask myself, okay, I'm moving a certain way, I'm getting similar results. I want different results now, which means I have to move differently in whatever way that means. Maybe it's the time I'm waking up, the food I'm eating, the friends I'm seeing, the workouts I'm doing. I look at this, I look where this could be showing up in other areas of my life outside of business. And so when I was reflecting on what I wanted to speak on in this episode, for so long I thought, okay, if I just lock myself in my room, have my desk, have my office, and just type, that's what's going to give me the results I want. Whereas fast forward now, so at my old apartment, I had an office and a bedroom space. Fast forward to where I am today, I do not have an office space. And interestingly enough, as soon as I got rid of my desk, got rid of a whole other room for an office, traded my laptop for sitting on my kitchen table or being out at cafes, that's when I started to see my results compound. Because it wasn't about doing more, it was about me being more. And that's so broad, let me go into this. It's about me being more of me. It's about me getting to know every single side of myself, every single version of myself, whilst
simultaneously knowing there is still so much more to learn and so much more to grow. I have a new belief now where the more fun I have, the more money I make. Even just this morning, I was leaving the gym class with my friend and she asked, what are your plans today? What are you doing? And the fact my response was, I'm going to the studio to record my podcast. Then I have a call with my coaching client. Then I'm seeing a few friends later. And it was just so normalized to me to say. And I had to almost like pinch myself because this is a life that I have been, I said this last week's episode, journaling about and wanting to call in for so long. And when I was reflecting, okay, what actually got me to this point, it's allowing myself to have fun. It's allowing my inner child to come out. And I've been playing beach volleyball recently, which has been so fun. And the way I'm putting myself out there, meeting new people, showing up to a sport that I am not the best at, however, still giving it a go, that's what's actually moving so many more needles like behind the scenes opposed to just business. So if I could quite literally transport 12 months ago, the version of me, I was still in Adelaide. I was living at home with my parents. I was living in a rumpus room. I was making like $4,000, $3,000 a month, if that. I wasn't even doing coaching. I was doing social media management, freelancing. If I could then let that version of me know you'll be living in your dream suburb with an incredible housemate, recording your podcast in a beautiful studio, looking your best, having the most incredible success in your business that you used to dream about, oh my gosh, I don't think that version of me could like even comprehend that. And that gets me so excited because imagine what's possible in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months. And I want you to start to think this way as well, because your results actually get to compound, particularly if you are a client of mine, if you've joined any of my masterclasses, and even if you're listening to this podcast, your results are going to compound. It's a belief you get to sign up to, and it's also a way you get to move throughout your life. So let's get into what your 3-month game plan is going to be. So we're going to keep this straight to the point. I'm also going to be giving you a little bit of an insight into my signature bingeable branding framework that I'm teaching in my new program, Bingeable Branding. So this is just a snippet because I want to give you guys as much value as I can in this episode. So the first one we are going to speak about is all on your identity for elevated expansion. So this was a really interesting one for me to dance around and play with because you say you want a certain number of success in your life. However, can you actually hold that? Can your body hold that? Can your body retain that kind of exposure, that kind of visibility? Even that kind of success. We always hear this thing where people who win the lottery, they typically lose all the money because they haven't actually built up like their money mindset or their nervous system to hold that kind of wealth. And so this is the same thing. If you haven't actually built up like your vessel, your identity to hold the type of success that you want, it ain't going to enter your world at all. And so the thing is, yes, the frameworks, the content, the social, the strategy is a huge, huge part. That's why bingeable branding exists. And that's why I teach what I teach. And also at the same time, it's also who you're being that matters sometimes more. Because you can get all the frameworks and the teachings. If you haven't built up the identity to hold that type of success and to hold those types of results, it ain't going to work. And I know this because I've seen this in myself, in my reality. I had all of the external things, right? Yet internally, I wasn't actually equipped. I wasn't actually open to receiving the type of success I truly, truly desired. So think of it as this, like 6-figure business requires a 6-figure leadership from self. It's things like stepping up long before you feel ready. Like I mentioned last week's episode, taking the step way before you feel ready to take it. Always ask yourself, what is that next level version of you? How are they showing up? How are they standing out? How are they making decisions? I do this constantly. If I'm like, should I do this? Should I not do this? What will my higher self do? And this can be in anything. This doesn't have to be just in business decisions. This can be with seeing a friend, with going to a certain event. There was this event I went to a few weeks ago, and yet again, this is what I love to do, dance around. Should I go? Should I not go? This, that. And then my friend just asked me, what will your next level self do? Would she go? Fuck yes, she would go instantly. Like the first answer that dropped in, that was my answer. So it's like, how can you start to operate that way? Honestly, it's such a hack to start to live your life this way. So I want to ask you a couple of questions here that I have on my phone. So what version of you would easily hold 6 figures in your business? Because granted, that version of you is very different, maybe not very different, but they most likely are different to who you are right now because you don't have that yet. How do they move throughout their day? How do they receive money? What are the type of friends or conversations that they actually engage in? I want you to start to do like a bit of a look, sound, feel like. I love to do this model a lot with my clients as well. I'm doing this constantly. What does this next level of me look like, sound like, and feel like? And get really crystal clear. The next question that's actually going to really help this as well is what habits or stories need to be shed? What needs to go? Remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. And typically you need to remove or delete an old habit or limiting belief, a way you're moving a routine in order to call in more of what you want. So as an example, I know when I'm in like a really busy time in business, maybe I'm not making my bed every day. Maybe there are some dishes in the sink. Maybe I'm reaching for the meal prep I have in the freezer, opposed to cooking a fresh dinner every single night. I'm okay with that because that means I'm putting so much more energy towards other areas of my life. And this is like a perfect example of the person with the most flexibility of behavior wins. And this is a really cool concept that really changed a lot for me. It's actually not always about doing more and ticking all the boxes, having your 10-step morning routine, getting your steps in every day, making your bed, having your vitamins, your supplements, like whatever. It's actually about how can you be the most flexible with those habits and routines and use your discernment. Okay, I'm in a really busy phase in business right now, so it's actually okay if the house is a little bit messy because my energy is going elsewhere. So there was a season where I wasn't making my bed for about 3-4 months. And that's for my business. I was doing so much of the building work behind the scenes. And that was intentional. It was like by me not doing that, I'm able to put my energy elsewhere. Whereas I feel in the past, because I like was obsessed with everything being perfect and polished and put together, the idea of not making my bed probably would put me into a bit of a spiral, which sounds psychotic to say right now. And this is just to show it's okay if other areas of your life aren't at 10 out of 10 whilst you're in a busy or whilst you're in a building phase of your business. Okay, premium positioning, which is what so much of bingeable branding is all about. How can you start to become one of the known leaders in your industry, in your space? Like, what is your unique flavor? Sure, there's so many people out there being like, they're a business coach, they're nervous system regulation, they're psychics, they're mindset coaches. Like, there's a lot out there. And so how can you stand out yourself? It's not by you posting as much content or following trending or viral reels. It's you sharing your essence. It's you sharing who you actually are. Remember, people buy from people. So the more you can start to extract your stories and position yourself in this really beautiful premium way, you're actually going to start to attract the right people instantly. They are going to feel so magnetized and so drawn to you that they don't even know why, yet it feels so right. And this comes by you opening your heart and sharing more about not even just what you do, not even just why you do, but the way and how you got to doing what you do. Yeah, I feel like I need to give that more depth when I explain it. However, like that's like just like a really simple way to articulate that message right there. And we go so much deeper into this whole concept in bingeable branding. Like it's such a beautiful lesson to teach because there's just so many different threads we get to pull from. So I'm going to give you an overview here right now. Things like creating your own signature frameworks and creating your own brand essence that people get to know, like, and trust you about. Like think about bingeable branding, people, and even start somewhere. People are using those wordings constantly throughout their messages to me, and my clients use it all the time. And like, I love when my clients are always like, oh, I'm just starting somewhere. This is a result of starting somewhere. It's about how can I create more of a bingeable brand? How can I seduce my audience more through storytelling? Oh, storytelling marketing. Oh, Isabel teaches that, right? How can you start to insert yourself in that way as well? By creating your own signature frameworks. Like the way bingeable branding came about, I can't even think, actually, I do know the story. I'm going to share the story in another episode. However, like, how cool is the name, bingeable branding? It's a framework I've created that gets to be a part of my brand, associated with my brand. And it's giving me this premium positioning, opposed to being like, use this marketing strategy that you can just get off ChatGPT. Like straight away, there's just so much more of a pull because I'm creating the essence of bingeable branding. That's what people want to like buy into, like emotionally buy into. I teach you all of that in my bingeable branding program, of course. And the last part here is all on your story selling. So we tell stories to then sell more through our content. The thing is, storytelling builds attention, then story selling is what is going to build demand. So when I shared my Start Again email series, that was a complete storytelling experience. And I was able to invite so much of my community inside my world, into my thoughts, into my journal entries. It was intimate, it was exclusive, it was spicy, it was everything. And off the back of that, people were then able to see such a different side of me that perhaps they hadn't actually seen before online. And then off the back of that is then how my whole storytelling marketing framework, bingeable branding, was birthed, which is pretty cool, to be honest. That like beautiful, intuitive, complete fun passion of mine, my writing, my storytelling extracted in an email series, is now what actually was like the runway for where we're at now with my business with storytelling and bingeable branding. It's so cool. And I teach about this a lot on my masterclass in particular, is how you can position yourself as the guide, who the characters are, who the villains are. Like, it's all about creating the storyboard. And when we think about movies and cartoons, like, there's a reason it actually captivates people to sit and watch for hours and hours on end. Whereas nowadays we're fighting for attention from a 3 or 7 second reel. When we can actually insert these like storytelling frameworks and strategies, that's what's going to make your audience hooked into your content. And that's what's going to help them binge your content like their favorite Netflix series. It actually is so incredibly simple. And I'm obsessed with the learnings and teachings I have in bingeable branding that helps you receive these results exactly to a T. I have a private client session just after recording, and we're going to be extracting her storyboard. And this type of work gets me so goddamn excited. So remember, people buy the story that they see themselves in. So there's a reason my email list did so well, because my audience and my readers, they could see parts of themselves in different parts of my story. Sure, the whole thing, maybe not, but different snippets, different emails, different scenes that I started to share, they could start to see how they could show up in there as well. And that's what's going to help move people throughout your brand, throughout your funnel, throughout your audience, and also just move them closer to you. Remember, it's all about connection and community, particularly social media. It's social. So like, how can we really just leverage the whole reason why social media exists to create that connection? So this episode was short and sweet, I feel. There's so much more I want to speak about on these concepts. So I'm really excited to hear what you particularly love to hear more about, whether it was the premium positioning, whether it was storytelling, insert anything else that I may have mentioned. And you best believe I'll be sharing a bunch more episodes on these specific topics. And if you're a brand or business owner and you are serious about building a 6-figure business this year, bingeable branding is your program. This is where we are going to go way deeper on all of these concepts. And you're also going to get my personalized support throughout. So all the dates will be in the show notes. I'll let you have a look there, click through. And as always, guys, my DMs are always open for you. Shoot me a DM at isabel.startsomewhere. And if you loved this episode, I love when you take a screenshot and post it to your Instagram stories, tag myself, so that way I can reshare the Start Somewhere love. I appreciate you listening, and I'll speak to you in our next week's episode. Bye, guys.